will be brought by Gerson Souto, advisor, strategic advisor at SES, notably, and Syndisat, so representing Syndisat, with hybrid satellite terrestrial networks as a solution for 100% 5G coverage in Brazil.
Thank you for the introduction. As mentioned, I'm representing 5G Brazil as well as Syndisat. For those not familiar, Syndisat is the Brazilian syndicate of satellite operators, and you will see some similarities in my presentation with those of Brito, some points also from Wilson, perhaps because we all work in 5G Brazil, so we have some points that are common. As mentioned before, Brazil is a very large country with a vast population. We have more than 200 million inhabitants and very concentrated in urban areas. However, even though we have a lot of concentration in urban areas, we still have a huge amount of remote areas to serve. And to give you an example, Brazil has more than 5,000 municipalities, and 2/3 of those municipalities have less than 10,000 inhabitants. So the amount of population and area that still needs to be covered through other solutions to achieve 100% 5G coverage in the country is quite big. And this is also the reason why we in 5G Brazil defend very patiently the remote area scenario, because it's critical for the country to be connected. In order to address this point, it was mentioned by Brito as well, the need for larger cells. Larger cells because the municipalities are very large, larger cells because farms are very large. So the combination of large cells with the right infrastructure will bring the right solution to the customer. That infrastructure can be satellite, can be terrestrial, or a hybrid combination. We also mentioned this point about 5G being a very flexible network. So we will be able to bring resources from the core all the way to the edge through network slicing, through edge computing. And this will allow us to use the right infrastructure for the right application. And we will allow us to sometimes use satellites as infrastructure, sometimes use terrestrial infrastructure. But the bottom line is how to best serve the end user and meet the latency requirements, the throughput requirements that will be required. I think we all in Brazil think about the agribusiness as a key element of our GDP. As Brito said, more than 20% of Brazil's GDP come from the agribusiness. And we are not only talking about the agriculture part. We are talking, when we think of the 20%, it's a combination of the agriculture part of the business, the transformation part of the business, and the distribution part of the business. And we all saw in the MIC Japan video this morning, a very nice video about how to use drones in a 5G environment in farms. So we will, this was a very nice tie into what you see in this presentation. Other presentations mentioned the use of drones. It will be increasingly used in remote areas for a number of applications. The agribusiness is a core one for us. But clearly, in many of those remote areas, you will need something like you see in the right side of this picture, which is a combination of a satellite VSAT system and a 5G cell. Another important use case for Brazil, coincidentally Brito also mentioned the same one, which is related to education. We need to improve remote education in the country. The number of municipalities, as I said, 2/3 of our municipalities are in remote areas. And we believe with the flexibility that 5G networks will bring, will allow us to do exactly that. Again, combining terrestrial and satellite networks to achieve this. Another example that I'm going to paraphrase what we've seen in the MIC Japan video, which was a very nice video shared with us, was the band playing for the grandparents. Now imagine the teacher from the center cities in virtual reality teaching for students in remote areas. This will change the paradigm of how education is done and improve the level of distance learning that we already have today into a great new level. Health business. The health business also, we again, nice coincidence, but the video from MIC Japan also showed a doctor interfacing with a patient using 5G networks in a much more flexible and important way, because in the case of Brazil with such big remote areas, we will need that kind of capability to improve the level of e-health that we provide in the country and effectively reach those areas. The interface with expert doctors from the main cities with local doctors will improve substantially, and hence we expect improvements in overall the health part of the country. We also expect satellites, as a satellite person, a little bit of the satellite pitch. We also expect satellites to play a role in other verticals, such as the aeronautical vertical. We'll be bringing 5G to airplanes. In the maritime vertical, we'll be bringing 5G to cruise ships so that you can have your nice vacation with 5G. And overall in the mobility segment. So in conclusion, and supporting Brito's point of the need for addressing remote areas as a key scenario. It's a key 5G scenario for Brazil for sure. And we believe that satellites will play an important role in addressing this key scenario. That's why Sindisat is working very actively in 5G Brazil. We work together with Inatel. We sponsor 2 projects with Inatel about 5G over satellite. We'll be starting trials in December, and hopefully we'll have results in the near future to share with you. So in summary, in order to achieve 100% 5G coverage in Brazil, we'll need a combination of terrestrial and satellite solutions. Thank you very much.